Tonight on News 5 Live, COVID variant detected in Belize, but which one? GOB clamps down on frontline workers, giving them 1 month to get vaccinated or start doing COVID tests. And curfew hours rolled back, but just 1 hour. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Fingerprint recognition coming soon. Social Security at your fingertips.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, June 30th. I am Sabrina Daly. It was the talk of Belize today. A variant of COVID has been detected. The sample at a facility overseas is to determine which variant it is. At this time, however, the suspicion is that it is the Delta variant, but we will only know for sure once the results are back. So what exactly does this mean? A variant spreads quickly, and those who are infected are likely to experience more serious effects, reducing the effectiveness of the vaccine and treatment. Minister Michelle Shabat tells us more.
Based on analysis done by the Central Medical Lab commencing on Friday last week, we're able to say that a variant of the COVID virus has now been detected in Belize. 2 sets of samples were run. 20 out of a set of 35 detected a variant of concern, and 22 out of 47 in the second sample run detected a variant of concern. At this time, we do not know exactly which variant it is. Our samples have been sent to Baylor College for gene sequencing to assist us in identifying the variant. We hope to have that information shortly.
In terms of where the variants were detected, the local experts believe that it could be the Delta strain, but it is only a belief. As I said before, the swabs have been sent to Baylor University, Baylor College, and once they're able to confirm, then we'll be able to come back to the Belizean public and confirm the variant that has been detected. It has been detected in several parts of the country. One person was detected from Ladyville. We have detected it in the south in the Stann-Creek district and also in the Orange Walk district.
And with variants being highly transmissible, they can hit under-resourced and understaffed health systems very hard. And if the Delta is in Belize, it can mean a lot of pressure for Belize's health sector. We put that to the Minister of Health, but he claims they are ready.
If it's Delta or whichever variant we have here, are we prepared? Is our health system prepared for this? Because it's highly transmissible. It means that it will be moving from person to person. It means that we'll be seeing more persons sick, and it will overwhelm our already fragile health system.
We have had the experience over the past few months dealing with this virus since we came into government, and our health systems, our hospitals are prepared. We are ready to combat whichever variant it is we are experiencing right now. Clearly, the solution is getting vaccinated. We cannot overemphasize how important that is. The AstraZeneca vaccine we currently have in country is effective for this variant, if that is in fact the variant we have.
COVID-19 cases have been steadily increasing over the last several days. Today alone, 24 new cases were confirmed, which puts the total active cases over 250. Today, prior to the release of the daily COVID-19 data, Minister Michelle Shabat shared his concern over the growing number of cases.
As of yesterday, June 29, 2021, we have recorded 234 active cases in our country. Yesterday, we recorded 38 new positive COVID cases. We have 5 active hospitalizations and 1 ICU admission. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is concerned by the rapid increase in positive cases we have been recording since the 21st of June. We continue to witness a wanton disregard for the public health measures that have been implemented.
New COVID-19 measures will come into effect on Sunday, July 4th. The new measures are being implemented in light of the increase in COVID-19 cases. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa outlines the new regulations.
The curfew will continue in place, so there will be an extension of the curfew from Sunday through to Wednesday night. It will remain at 10 p.m., but there will be an adjustment in the curfew from Thursday to Saturday night. the new curfew will be 11 p.m. So it is just a reduction of 1 hour, but a very important reduction, because we have seen where at these various establishments, restaurants, like the minister said under the guise, they're actually operating like bars. That is a critical hour where things get out of control and people start to party, which again is not allowed under these regulations. In terms of church services, as you know, last month we had agreed to extend church service to 2 hours. We are now cutting back to the 1 hour church service. And again, that is with a 50% capacity inside the church. We are also encouraging, and I believe we'll be putting it in the protocols, to cordon off every other pew to ensure that we get the 50% capacity. In terms of restaurants, we will continue with the 75% capacity for outdoor dining. We will also continue with 50% for indoor dining, but, and here is the change, we will not be allowing dining inside a restaurant that does not have a free flow of air, that is not properly ventilated. And so you cannot have an air-conditioned restaurant per se. It has to be a free-flow ventilation indoor restaurant. With respect to BPOs, we've been seeing some increase in numbers at BPOs, and so we have decided that starting this Sunday, there will be a capacity limit of 50% inside the BPOs. So again, this is going to create more social distancing inside the BPOs.
The Minister of Home Affairs says that they will be activating justices of the peace to do rounds at business establishments, such as restaurants, to ensure compliance with COVID-19 regulations. Vaccines are now available for persons who are 18 years and older. As you know, since the vaccine rollout began back in March, the government took a phased approach for different groups due to vaccine availability and priority for essential and vulnerable groups. But since they have acquired vaccines from several countries and COVAX, the phased system is gone. Now they want everyone 18 and older to take the jab.
As of today, all persons 18 years and above are now eligible to be vaccinated. All of our public health facilities are open to vaccinate persons 18 years and above. As well, all those persons who received a first dose at least 8 weeks ago can also proceed to get their second dose. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in the pipeline awaiting delivery 138 doses from the COVAX facility and 112,634 from the African Medical Supplies platform. On June 18, we had given a total of 95,248 doses. As of yesterday, we have now given a total of 112,722 vaccines. 83,507 are first doses, while 29,215 are fully vaccinated individuals.
COVID-19 uptake is the lowest among security forces. According to Minister Shabat, to date, over 29,000 Belizeans have been fully vaccinated, and the ministry expects that number to double over the next 2 months. Vaccine uptake among frontline workers is above 70% on average, except for the police force, BDF officers, and the Coast Guard. Only 20% of Belize's security forces are vaccinated against COVID-19.
As of yesterday, we have 83,507 persons with a first dose, and we have 29,215
215 persons fully vaccinated across the country. And those numbers for us are incredible numbers. The ones we're looking at is the fully vaccinated persons. With the current doses that we have in country, we feel that by the end of July, going into August, that the number we currently have should be doubled, so that we're going to have anywhere between 50 to 60,000 Belizeans fully vaccinated. And that puts us ahead of the game. It puts us closer to where we want to be. So in terms of frontline workers, we have 90% of our frontline workers who are in the hospitals vaccinated, or healthcare workers. 90% of them. We have 81% of our custom officials vaccinated. We have 78.7% of our people who identify as being involved in the tourism industry vaccinated. We have 70% of the people from the National Assembly vaccinated. We have 61.6% of teachers vaccinated. And I want to come back to the teachers. And persons 60 years and above, we have 60% vaccinated. We are lagging behind in terms of the police force, the BDF, the Coast Guard. Those numbers are lacking. They're lagging behind, and so we're encouraging. The police is at 27.8%. The BDF at 21.8%, and we have the Coast Guard at 16.4%. And so we need our security forces to come out and get vaccinated.
Minister Shabat says another batch of COVAX vaccines is expected to arrive in July, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine should be in Belize in August. In a week's time, Belize will be welcoming back cruise ships after more than a year. But is this a wise move in the midst of the discovery of at least one variant suspected but not confirmed to be the Delta of the COVID-19 in Belize? That's what News 5's Andrea Polanco asked Minister of Tourism Anthony Mahler.
The World Health Organization, I believe, termed the Delta variant to be one of the fittest and fastest in that it's highly transmissible. Now, we know that in about a week time or so, is it, that cruise is going to return to Belize. Does this change anything in terms of opening up for tourists in the country?
The cruise lines will only allow most of them, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, 100% vaccinated people to go on their cruises. Carnival is working with about 95%. Only a small portion of cruisers will be allowed on board, and they don't have to be vaccinated, and that's for medical reasons, children, and for religious reasons. So, for example, Carnival starts July 7. We're expecting about 2,500, maybe 3,000 passengers on that ship. They're working with 60%. All the people who aren't vaccinated will be in their own quarters. They will have their own buffet. They will have their own tender. They will have their own tours separate from the other people. And I believe that the CDC wouldn't have allowed cruising to start if they didn't feel that they could do it safely. Now, take into consideration, all through 2020, cruising was happening in Asia and other parts of the world, and they've done a pretty good job in terms of not having any spread caused by the activity. We have our own protocols in country, and they're stringent. And the minute we see anything suspicious, then that person has to go back on the ship.
Should Belizeans be required to take the vaccine? It's a divisive issue, but now the government says that they are approaching it in a different way, where those who don't take the vaccines must show a negative COVID test every 2 weeks. Today, Minister of Home Affairs spoke on this new initiative while Prime Minister John Briceño pondered the issue moving forward.
We will be encouraging frontline personnel to get vaccinated. So the entire month of July, we are requesting the following groups to get vaccinated. And in the event they do not get vaccinated, then starting August 1st, these individuals will have to present a negative COVID test every 2 weeks. So we are not saying that you are mandated to get the vaccine. We're just encouraging you who are the additional frontline personnel. So it definitely includes doctors, nurses, police officers, military. It also includes our educational frontliners, so this will apply to teachers. It includes our economic frontliners, so we're talking about tour guides, even though I know the tour guide and tour operators have been getting vaccinated and they have actually the highest percentage of individuals vaccinated. It also includes restaurant employees, restaurant owners and employees. They will be asked to get vaccinated, as well as all of the casino workers. So these are the different types of groups that will be expected. In addition, we would also like to ask our spiritual frontliners, pastors and priests. They also interact with a lot of members of the public. We will be asking them also to get vaccinated in the month of July.
You have to get vaccinated to be able to go back to work. And that is something that we should consider very serious as a country, that maybe we have to consider employers to tell their employees, if you want to come to work, you have to get vaccinated. If you want to work in my hotel, you have to get vaccinated. If you want to come and work in my business, you have to get vaccinated. Because maybe it's not about you, but it's about the people around you. So if you don't care about you, well, let's care about the people around us. And that is why it's so important for us to get vaccinated. In Cabinet, we spoke about it a bit, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, where we're talking about considering very serious to ensure that all our frontline workers in government, that they must get vaccinated. That the BDF, the police, the immigration officer, customs officers, and all of our employees that have to deal with the public must get vaccinated. We're not there yet, but we probably may have to get there if we do not see that the numbers are going up quickly enough within the government service.
Coming up, the government will be appealing the Halacte ruling in the Supreme Court. Minister Balderramas Garcia explains why when we return.
Galenia Hospital, located in Cancun, Mexico's premier tourism destination, is a state-of-the-art healthcare facility that provides highly specialized medical services. We are Quintana Roo's biggest private hospital with board-certified doctors and staff. Some of our services include Cath Lab, Adult Intensive Care Unit, Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, emergency rooms, operating theaters, ambulance services, and more. We are a medically accredited hospital by JCI, Accreditation Canada International, and General Health Council, providing extraordinary care in every specialty, from our cardiology department to our neurology center. We are focused on treating the entire person, body, mind, and spirit. Contact us at medicaltourism@hospitalgalenia.com or visit our website at www.hospitalgalenia.com. Come to Galenia Hospital in Cancun for a truly personal medical care experience.
Try it first.
Hey guys, I'm Brighton Cod, and I want to tell you about an app that's going to change the insurance game. Imagine insurance made easy. That's exactly what Home Protector Insurance has done with the new HPI app. Instant claims, fast transactions, and real-time updates are just a few of the ways this insurance app is going to change your life. Whether it's for your car, your house, your life, or any of the other services provided, HPI app has got you covered. With a user-friendly interface, only with Home Protector can you get all your insurance needs in the palm of your hands. But don't take my word for it. Download the app, give it a try. Let me know what you think. And if you're not insured with Home Protector, then we've got to have a serious talk.
An attempt on the lives of two young men last night has an entire family in Lake Eye fearing for their safety after bullets tore through their home. When the shooting subsided, two persons were injured and bullet holes riddled their house. News 5's Isani Cayetano has that story.
A pair of young men narrowly escaped with their lives on Tuesday night when they came under gunfire as they stood on Estella Metzen Street. The incident happened in Lake Independence area sometime around 8:30 p.m. when 19-year-old Rashid Coffin was blindsided by an unknown attacker.
We just made the door, then look like when I walk up down the street, look like the people that me there like in the area, and then I saw one hand him my phone and the shot said started fire and the shot said fire. My next move after try to escape.
Coffin ran for cover, but not before being hit in the elbow. His friend, 20-year-old Eric Castillo, with whom he was standing in front of this residence, was shot in the back. The homeowner told News 5 off camera that as many as 16 shots were fired in their direction. A majority of those rounds perforated the walls, damaging household appliances inside the home.
I wasn't here physically when it happened, but as soon as it happened, my neighbors got in contact with me and they told me that my house got shut up, and they even said that my kids got shut up. But I know my kids, they're inside, they're not trouble, man. So I just rushed from out there because I don't have a food vendor, and I rushed from Mahogany Street to come see what really happened. When I come I see police, they comb the area, the street there, and over the open lot there. So, and, you know, I fed up. I don't know what else to do, what else to say. Honestly, because this is the second time wrong, and then now my grandkids they made there last night, so that make it even worse for me as well, mother and grandmother.
According to Coffin, the barrage of gunfire initially sounded like firecrackers until he felt a burning sensation in his right arm.
Just when I feel shot, but then when I get the sense I thought I shot, because I'm making a dynamite, get the sense I shot. Then I started running, but then I don't get one already, but I'm not sure how much I get, so I just run to my car. Yeah, not left down there.
At this point, do you fear for your safety? I mean, this just happened last night, you're back home again. Do you feel as if though at this present moment your life is still in danger?
Everybody's life is in danger, I believe, yeah. Yeah, that's have to stay inside.
The damages to her appliances will set this owner back a few $100s, as her business as a food vendor is directly affected.
We are food vendors, and if we items then I guess we have to bring that home. I don't have no way to store it due to where the fridge get messed up, you understand me? And I really got no way to store it. To store the chicken and things like that. So no say you say I had to clean my chicken and what's not to go out there later. So I don't know, I just might buy some more ice and put that later. I just have to do something. I want the main thing I want to do is fence my yard.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
There is a new piece of legislation being tabled in the House of Representatives in the days ahead. The Belize Constitution 11th Amendment Act seeks to disqualify anyone who is a member of the National Assembly who has been convicted of an offense, quote, in relation to corruption or abuse of public office, or convicted of an offense relating to elections, or who has served a sentence of imprisonment for more than 12 months imposed by a court in or outside of Belize, unquote. Earlier this week, there was chatter about the proposed piece of law and how it could possibly affect the political career of opposition leader Shine Barrow. Late this evening, Barrow described the 11th Amendment as, quote, discriminatory, classist, inhumane, and unconstitutional, unquote. He also says it is a pathetic attempt by the PUP government to, quote, criminalize the poor and disadvantaged, unquote. Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs Dolores Balderramos Garcia has commented on the recent ruling made by Chief Justice Michelle Arana, which awarded $6.3 million to two farmers and the village of Halacte. According to the ruling, the government under the Barrow administration did not seek the free, prior informed consent of the Maya people before the Halacte Road was constructed through the village. Minister Dolores confirmed that GOB, through Crown Counsel Samantha Matute Tucker, is going to appeal the decision.
The case started way back in 2016. There has been a ruling with a large money award. Now, government is going to be looking at it very, very seriously. We have our Crown Counsel, Samantha Matute Tucker, looking into it. And clearly, even if it were an appeal in terms of the quantum, government has to look carefully at that. But also, we are looking at the various issues that arose to see if the Chief Justice may have been on the right track. So definitely an appeal would be in the making, but that is not to say that it is not an important ruling.
But Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia says that the case is a touchy one, because while the government must adhere to the consent order of the Caribbean Court of Justice, where it ruled that the indigenous Maya people from the South have communal land rights, GOB also has the final authority on the use of land for development. Minister Dolores says that it is about balancing competing interests. Here's how she explains it.
The interests of the community cannot fully trump the interests of private landowners, or vice versa. But we must always remember that the authority of the government of Belize over all lands in Belize has not been taken away. And I spoke this morning about pre-existing rights that have not been extinguished where it comes to private landowners and the customary land rights of the Maya people, but it works both ways. The difficulty that we have and the challenge is that we must find that balance. If you run roughshod over communities, even though it is an excellent idea to build a road and pave a road, then there will be difficulty. And I believe that that is what the judgment of Chief Justice Arana found. But we will have a close look at it, because what we are looking at in terms of consulting communities is we are not giving the community a veto right or a veto power. But what we are saying is that we recognize our responsibility to speak to you first, to get your opinion, and then if we really can't decide, or if we really cannot come to a compromise, then the government, I think the government will have to take the final approach to what happens, you know. But please, I don't say that to say that government has veto power. I say that to say that we will do all in our power to arrive at the compromises that will need to be made.
Professor Clement Sankat is parting ways with the University of Belize after holding the post as president for the past 4 years. It has been confirmed that a settlement was made between Sankat and the university, and so he demits office on July 30th. The decision was taken back in May of this year at a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the university. Chairman Anthony Sylvester says the separation is mutual.
As I indicated to you, there was a mutual agreement as between Professor Sankat and the board, and I can confirm and I can say unequivocally that as it relates to the settlement with Professor Sankat and the university, that there is one can certainly be rest assured that the university has not been put to undue or additional expense. So I would characterize it that way.
Will he be getting his 10% bonus and I believe 10% gratuity? I think it's for every year based on performance.
As I indicated to you, the settlement is one in which I can unequivocally say it will not be any additional expense to the university.
The UB Board of Trustees has since apprised the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education of the decision, and a temporary replacement will be appointed. The search now begins to find a successor. There has been widespread criticism that the leader of the National University should be a Belizean. Sankat is from Trinidad. There's more news after the break, but first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
This COVID update is brought to you by Belize Medical Associates. This COVID update was brought to you by Belize Medical Associates.
Nation, baby. Rain or shine, any weather. When we go bold, we go Berger. Quality paint, no faded colors. When we go bold, we go Berger. Let your imagination run free. Any color for this place, when we say bold, that mean it don't peel. Quality in every color, lifetime guarantee. When we go bold, we go Berger. When we go bold, we go Berger. Rain or shine, any color you need. When we go bold, we go Berger.
The Public Utilities Commission PUC hereby notifies the public that on June 24, 2021, it made its final decision in respect of the 2021 Annual Review Proceeding ARP for the Belize Electricity Limited BEL. The Belize Electricity Limited BEL made a submission for an Annual Review Proceeding ARP on April 1, 2021. It requested that both the mean electricity rate MER at 0.4018 per kilowatt hour and tariffs be retained for the next annual tariff period as per the value set in the 2020 FTRP final decision. In applying the rate setting methodology, RSM, the MER was assessed to be 0.3999 per kilowatt hour for the remainder of the full tariff period from July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2024, as compared to 0.4018 per kilowatt hour previously assessed in the 2020 FTRP final decision. In the initial decision, the Commission maintained the current schedule of fees and charges levied by BEL, but reduced the tariffs in consequence of a downward assessment in the MER to 0.399 per kilowatt hour. Only the BEL submitted feedbacks on this initial decision, wherein the licensee expressed misgivings on the projections used by the Commission in arriving at its decision, and on the failure to meet standards of performance penalty regime employed. Without objections, the initial decision is hereby adopted as the final decision. The final decision may be viewed in its entirety at the offices at the Public Utilities Commission at 41 Gabriel Lane, Belize City, or on the PUC website at www.puc.bz. Further details will also be published in the next editions of several newspapers widely circulated in Belize.
Digi and the National Bank of Belize are proud to partner with the Government of Belize to facilitate the disbursement of Belize COVID-19 cash transfer funds via our safe and easy-to-use mobile pays platform. After getting approval that you will be a beneficiary of the relief funds, you will be informed by SMS when your monthly payment has been deposited to your mobile pays account, which Digistore or National Bank branch you were assigned to, and when you can go in to collect. You must bring along the phone that the notification was sent to in order to present your account number and to receive your validation code and SMS receipt. You must also bring along a valid Social Security card. After your information is verified, you will receive a validation code which you are to give to the agent. The agent will hand over the full amount of funds allotted to you for that month, and you will receive an SMS receipt with a unique number for that transaction. Digi and the National Bank of Belize are committed to the development of innovative services for the benefit of all Belizeans.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
The recent emphasis on discounts for Belizean staycations may be paying off, but prices for other goods and services are up. Today, the Statistical Institute of Belize released a number of figures, and among them, the Consumer Price Index for May 2021. The CPI found that while Belizeans enjoyed cheaper hotel accommodations that month, the prices for fuel, food, cooking, and personal care products were up. The study shows that Belizeans are spending, on average, 10% more for transportation, close to $1 more for pigtail, and up to 31% more for a single lime. Santa Elena and San Ignacio recorded the highest increase in prices.
The food subcategory alone, with an increase of 5.4%, was exclusively responsible for the increase within the category, as higher prices across majority food groups were observed. In particular, fresh vegetables and fruits were the main items contributed to the increase. Higher prices were observed in products such as lime, cabbage, pineapple, onion, as well as other types of food products such as natural milk, red kidney beans, pig, and pigtail.
Coors Town experienced the smallest increase in the Consumer Price Index. Currently, Belize is ranked 4th in the region in terms of an increase in prices on goods and services. Belize's economy shrank for a fourth consecutive quarter as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The latest Statistical Institute of Belize data shows that Belize produced $60 million less in goods and services in the first quarter of 2021, accounting for an 8% decrease in the economy. Belize's largest economic sector, tourism, continued spiraling downwards as hotels and restaurants saw 81% less of its pre-COVID revenues. On the other hand, an increase in the generation of electricity and water were recorded, and the sugar industry experienced growth.
Within the primary sector, output decreased to $76.8 million during the first quarter of 2021. This represents a decline of 2% or $1.6 million when compared to the first quarter of 2020. The sector most severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, the tertiary sector, continued to record the largest decrease among all sectors, with a significant 12.3% drop or $54.7 million decrease across all tertiary industries, bringing this industry total down to $390.3 million.
Perhaps the most startling piece of information to emerge in today's presentation by the Statistical Institute of Belize is that in 2018, a whopping 52% of Belizeans were living in poverty and spending less than $7,500 annually. Between 2009 and 2018, poverty in Belize increased by 11%, with up to 64,000 Belizeans falling into poverty. Unfortunately, in 2018, analysis is a bit outdated, as it does not reflect the impact that COVID-19 has had on poverty in the country. The SIB hopes updated data can be made available for release in a September report.
In 2018, there were approximately 201,616 individuals that were living in poverty, meaning that about 1 in every 2 individuals were living in poverty, resulting in a headcount ratio of 52%. This was a significant increase from the 136,640 poor individuals and consequent headcount ratio of 41% in 2009.
Prior to this study, the most recent poverty statistics we have were from 2009, which gives you a much less relevant point of comparison if we now want to look at measuring poverty now in the middle of the pandemic or now immediately preceding the pandemic. So I wouldn't say that it's irrelevant. We need something to be the point of comparison if we're going to determine how much the pandemic has impacted on living conditions and on poverty.
On the external trade side, for May 2021, imports were inching back towards pre-COVID numbers. Exports are also up, signaling a rebound in the export economy.
Belize's imports were valued at $760.2 million. Imports grew by a notable 10.2%, or $70.3 million when compared to January to May of 2020, where imports totaled almost $690 million. One should note that this spike simply signals the return to normal import flows, as these figures are a comparison to the record low imports of last year, where imports for the months of April and May in particular hit historic lows owing to the challenges brought upon by the COVID-19 pandemic. Total domestic exports amounted to $172.2 million. This was a noteworthy increase of 15.5%, or $23.1 million over the exports for that same period last year.
Over 19,000 persons who lost their jobs as a result of COVID-19 are still without work. However, they are not all out seeking employment. The Statistical Institute of Belize's labor force survey for April 2021 found more than 20,000 persons, or 11% of the labor force, is unemployed. The labor force consists of 181,000 Belizeans. Males account for more than 60% of the workforce, while women continue to dominate the services and sales sector, according to SIB.
Both the employed and the unemployed form the labor force. In April 2021, the employed persons were estimated at 161,416, which represented 88.8% of the labor force. Unemployed persons made up 11.2% of the labor force, with about 20,318 persons. Within the employed population, there is a subgroup of persons who work less than 35 hours per week and are wanting and available to work additional hours. This subgroup is referred as the underemployed and represented 21.1% of all employed persons.
Just ahead, finally some good news for the tourism sector as numbers go up. More from the Minister of Tourism when we return.
Electricity is an essential part of our daily lives. We use lights and household appliances every day. Therefore, we must ensure our homes are wired properly. At Benny's, we have certified wires with the right gauges and insulation. BEL certified meter sockets, authentic GE and Square D panel boxes and breakers, which protect the wires inside your home from being overloaded. When wiring your home, avoid imitation brands which can be very dangerous. Give yourself and your family peace of mind using genuine electrical products available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
What is climate change? Climate change, or global warming, as defined by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, is said to be the process of our planet heating up. The Earth has warmed by an average of 1 degree Celsius in the last century, and although that might not sound like much, it means big things for humans and wildlife around the globe. Rising temperatures is making our weather more extreme and unpredictable. Some impacts of climate change in Belize are flooding, drought, unstable weather patterns, and changes in seasons that affect agriculture, human, and wildlife activities. What is REDD+? REDD+ is a mitigation activity to reduce carbon emissions and increase carbon stock in the forest sector. The name REDD+ stands for Reducing Emission from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, plus Conservation, Sustainable Management of Forest and Carbon Stock Enhancement. How can REDD+ be a solution? Trees breathe the greenhouse gases we produce. We can start caring more for our forests by planting more trees and keeping our landscapes intact. Our forests are part of the solution. Also, by encouraging the adoption of sustainable forest management in Belize, we can help restore forests that have been lost.
Forests are linked to all aspects of human well-being. Think about the clean air that forests provide, that oxygen that we breathe. If it wasn't so clean, especially during that fire season, we would actually be facing a lot of problems. So breathing clean air is something that we may take for granted, but it's actually something that forest provides and that contributes to our health and happiness. One of the advantages of doing things associated with REDD+ in Belize is that it actually is a great mechanism for us to be able to maintain forests while at the same time sustainably using them and keeping all the services and goods that the forest provides to us intact, for example, water. At night, it's the trees and the plants in the forest that actually release that water that goes up in the atmosphere and eventually comes back as rain. If we don't have forests, that water is gone. If we think about our food security and the food that we eat, the agriculture industry and how important it is for Belize, we don't necessarily associate it sometimes with actual forests. But it's those forests that actually feed the soil organisms that cycle the nutrients and make our soils fertile. It's those forests that are a house and home for pollinators that pollinate our crops. And it's those forests that maintain the water that our agricultural areas need to thrive. Otherwise, we would be subject to things like droughts.
There is hope with REDD+.
The government press office issued a briefing on the cabinet meeting today. Areas covered included an update from the Ministry of Health and Wellness on a ramped-up COVID-19 vaccination campaign. Cabinet was briefed on the challenges Belize and other member states in CARICOM face in advancing the CARICOM single market and economy integration process and approved the appointment of personnel in various ministries to implement policies relevant to Belize regarding the CSME. Cabinet approved amendments to the Tax Administration and Procedure Act to enable the Belize Tax Services Department to better pursue tax defaulters both criminally and civilly, and gave its approval for the introduction of key e-governance legislation relating to electronic transactions, data sharing and protection, and a new electronic transfer of funds crime bill. Finally, Cabinet approved the amendment to the Misuse of Drugs Act that was provided for the creation of a regulated cannabis industry for Belize. The Minister of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, Anthony Mahler, says the number of tourists arriving in Belize through the Philip Golson International Airport is increasing monthly and quickly moving towards pre-COVID numbers. This is good news for those in the tourism industry who have seen the sector shrink significantly over the past 14 months. Minister Mahler gave us the details this morning on Open Your Eyes.
In May we had about almost 21,000. In June we're looking at closer to 28,000. So in May we're about 70% of pre-COVID numbers, and June we're trending towards 80, maybe 82% of pre-COVID numbers. So the experts had said that we would be back within 2 years, maybe 3 years. Well, we're showing a rebound. We don't know how long it's going to last, because it's going like this. Yeah. I would have preferred it gradually grew, but it has been a spike. The country needs the revenues, the foreign exchange, and so it's. I'm not complaining, and the people in the tourism industry are not complaining.
As cruise tourism is set to return to Belize on July 7th, Minister Mahler explained that Carnival, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean are all preparing for a return with vaccinated passengers.
On July 7th, we should have a first Carnival ship in port. They're going to be operating at about 60%, and so it's a big ship, so you're still talking about maybe 2,500 passengers. All passengers on, not all, but 95% of Carnival passengers have to be vaccinated. They're leaving a small amount for people for religious purposes, children, and for people who have some ailments or some underlying conditions. And I want to make it clear that that group of people who aren't vaccinated, who are going on the cruise or coming on the cruise, will operate totally in a bubble. They're going to be on a separate part of the ship. They're going to have their own buffet line. They're going to have their own tender. They're going to have their own tour operations, just so that we have stringent measures and the protocols are not eroded. So Carnival, 4 ships in July, 4 ships in August, and then they ramp it up, 8 ships in September. And then Norwegian, the same thing. Norwegian is going to operate in the bubble. All their staff members are going to be vaccinated, and they're operating. Norwegian and Royal Caribbean are operating at 100% vaccinated.
Just ahead, a new, more inclusive National Commission for Families and Children. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
In exercise of the power conferred upon it by Section 7 of the Electricity Act, Chapter 221 of the Laws of Belize, and with the approval of the Minister, the Public Utilities Commission PUC, the Commission hereby notifies the general public that it intends to enact a bylaw in relation to electricity procurement and power purchase. The bylaw shall govern the procurement processes for wholesale, distributed energy resources and short-term power purchases by addressing the roles of the Commission and the utilities. The bylaw seeks to secure public welfare, national security, and services at the best value for money. Further clarify the exercise by the Commission of its duties under the Public Utilities Commission Act and Electricity Act. Provide for increased conservation and efficiency of electricity resources by utilities and equitable retail rates for consumers, and detail the RFP and PPA processes. Regulatory tools to achieve the Commission's public interest mandate of setting tariffs for the provision of electricity service to the public. Members of the public are invited to give their comments by email info@puc.bz or post by 17 July 2021. The draft bylaw may be viewed in its entirety at the offices of the Commission at 41 Gabriel Lane, Belize City, or on the PUC website at www.puc.bz.
Why should you wear your mask? To protect myself. My friends. My family and others. I wear my mask because I love my grandparents. With so many reasons to wear a mask, we continue to advise persons to wear a face mask properly, covering both nose and mouth. Together, we can keep Belize COVID-19 safe.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800-A-WAY-OUT or our cell phone number, 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize, with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos. Y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
With less than 30,000 Belizeans fully vaccinated, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has stepped up its vaccination efforts today, launching a vaccine campaign under the slogan, "Before you relax, get vax." It's a multimedia campaign underpinned by an educational awareness component to encourage Belizeans to get vaccinated. Today, the vaccine drive was launched at the Belize Biltmore Plaza. CEO in the Ministry of Health and Wellness discussed the need for the campaign.
So through health education, we're not only focusing only on the vaccine itself, but also promoting the use of masks, the use of sanitizers, the use of the proper hand washing, and the use, the disposal of the same, which is very important, okay? Expanding and creating access to testing. It's no longer you coming to the hospital, it's us coming to you in the communities. You can no longer have the excuse to say, I live in a community that's very far. We are going to be there once you have the symptoms, once you've been in contact with somebody who has been diagnosed positive. Access to testing, PCR testing, and rapid testing. And by doing all these actions, we are confident that with your participation, we will comply to our 70% coverage. Specific activities that we will be doing, other than the health education and awareness, is the distribution of masks and the distribution of sanitizers that will be happening countrywide, not only in the urban setting, but also in the communities and rural setting. Secondly, testing. We are bringing, through the assistance of mobile teams that will be moving in all the rural areas and urban areas to promote testing.
The National Committee for Families and Children, now a commission, has a new composition. It will now include a representative from the LGBTI community as well as Autism Belize to ensure that there is inclusivity at the discussion table when it comes to making decisions on the rights of families and children. News 5's Dwayne Moody attended the launch of the new commission at Radisson.
The new National Commission for Families and Children is comprised of 14 representatives from public and private sector partners, including members of the NGO community. It is a statutory body that is legally mandated to promote, monitor, and evaluate Belize's compliance with its national and international commitments to children and serves as a major advisory body to the government on families and children's issues.
We will be changing the name from committee to commission. A commission receives a remit, receives a commission to do work, and that is what we intend to do in line with Plan Belize. And of course with the focus on families, which is actually in the name of the ministry now. Some of the mantras of our ministry are equality, inclusion, respect, engagement, communication, and I think that Petal joining us is something really, really good. We respect and involve and engage our LGBT communities and also Autism Belize. I think Ms. Almeida from Autism Belize really will bring a lot to the table in terms of inclusion. As you do know, Marshall Nunes is at our disabilities desk, and he has really hit the ground running in terms of that real advocacy for the inclusion of persons with disabilities, anyone with special needs.
Minister Dolores Balderramas Garcia says that this time around there was need to ensure that everyone had a say. Cherise Talbert is the president and one of the founding directors of the Promoting Empowerment Through Awareness for Lesbian Bisexual Women, better known as PETAL. She says that it is a step in the right direction.
There is a lot of talk where it concerns inclusion, but inclusion doesn't necessarily extend to LGBT families, and so to be a part of the committee and being able to actually be at the table is, for one, groundbreaking for us, because we've been invited into the spaces, yes, but never really and truly to actually be a part of, you know, I know that even being at the table where it concerns decision making, that we're there, but in some aspects where it concerns families, and families is not the traditional just a mom and a dad anymore, and so to bring that type of inclusivity, it means a lot to us.
We are trying to embrace values of inclusivity, of responsiveness, trying to bring in new perspectives, fresh areas, and be as responsive as we can, as relevant as we can in these changing times, try to address issues that affect families and children in Belize.
Irene Palacio Morgan is chair of the commission. She says that the work of the NCFC continues.
We have several activities, programs. We have subcommittees of the committee itself, including policy and legislation, monitoring and evaluation. So those subcommittees continue the work. The new head committee of the National Committee for Families and Children will meet and we will plot the way forward with our strategic plan.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.